Right, well, as you can probably see or guess, I'm not sitting. It's a little bit wet today, a little bit wet, a little bit cooler too, and the logs are no longer nice to sit on. Well, they'd be nice to sit on, but I get a wet, you know what. So I'm standing here talking to you today. But it got me thinking again. When we say we're talking to God or praying, a lot of people think that we can only do praying in a certain way. Some by their bedside at night or morning at night. Some just in church. And some just when they feel like it or feel they need to. Praying is what I call my time of talk, chat with God, chat with Jesus, which is more easier. And I think I said the other day, I tend to pick a log to sit on, but it's not always the same log, and it's not always the same place. And you don't have to have a special place, you don't have to have a special time to talk to God. You can talk to God whenever you want to, wherever you want to. Jesus showed us that in particular, how he prayed. He didn't just pray on the Sabbath. He went to the synagogues, and he worshipped at the synagogues like every other Jew in those days did, and still do today. But he also took time to find time to be on his own with his Father, with God. He took time to go off up onto the hillsides, which is, I always like that. He took himself off to the mountainside and the hillside to pray, and he very often did it. Didn't matter what time of day really, but he would always be talking with his Father, always talking with God, and that's what I like to think. You know, prayer is so it is a personal thing, but it's also something which I find, as I've grown older, I suppose, it becomes easier. It becomes easier to talk. I think I said the other day that we need to speak about God and our faith in words that people can understand, in words that of today's language. And I think that's just how Jesus did as well. I think one of the problems with when we talk about Jesus, for those who do not believe, for those who are on the borderline or would like to believe but just not too sure about it, they think they put that picture, haven't they, of Jesus still in his Eastern garb with sandals, long hair, and we don't know. No photographs. But what we do know is Jesus' character, and we do know his thinking and the way he looked on things and the way he prayed. Because, as I say, prayer is something which you can do wherever you are. I used to sometimes be praying when I was driving my van, when I was on a long journey. I very often find myself chatting away. Sometimes I wouldn't always stop and listen, because you know me, I can talk and talk and talk, so I have to be a bit careful sometimes, because that's what we do need to take time to pause and reflect and listen, because God does talk to us in so many different ways. I'm thinking of some of the ways that Jesus prayed, and people probably wouldn't recognise it as prayer sometimes. I think this is the problem. Sometimes we don't recognise prayer. For instance, we all know the story, or at least I hope we all know the story. I know there are people in there that probably don't know the story, but we all know the story of Jesus calming the sea. The disciples were so worried they were going to sink, so worried that they were going to get swamped over, they were going to drown, and there was Jesus fast asleep in the back of the boat. And yeah, we like to think, I've heard noise, it's all right, sorry. We like to think that was just a beautiful miracle. But it wasn't just a miracle, it was a prayer. And Jesus stood up and calmed his disciples first of all. When he stood up and rebuked the wind and calmed the storm, that was a prayer. He was praying. So often we don't recognise how we do pray. Very often someone, in the past I've known it, and they still do today, someone who knows that I'm a Christian, and although they don't necessarily believe, will say, Richard, or Dick, or whatever they call me, I'd like you, could you pray for my friend, or so-and-so and so-and-so. They've got this, they've got that, problems. And I will say, yes, of course I will. And I do, but I also say to them, you do realise that by just asking me, that's your prayer in itself. You're actually praying. That's your prayer. And that is one way that we do pray. So yeah, I call it a chat, my chat with God. I think it's, as long as you still give God the glory, the majesty and the wonder, as I said the other day, the mystery, the unknown. God is so beyond our understanding. As long as you give him that mystery and that honour, that there, I think he appreciates us having a chat with him. And you will find that he will chat back. Not necessarily like I'm talking now. Sometimes he will. Some people will say that. But he will talk in other ways to you. So yeah, chat with God wherever you are, and don't feel you don't have to say words out loud. What you're feeling in your heart, very often a prayer. And yeah, I think that's all I want to say today. We'll just listen to these birds singing. Lovely. If I step away, you might be able to see what's behind me. I wonder what's behind me. Might not, but hopefully you will. One massive bluebells. God bless everyone.